Okay, here we're going to look at this problem here. Okay, we have T is a mobile phone telephone tower in a remote country town, and its region of reception is defined by the inequality x take 3 squared plus y take 2 squared is less than or equal to 40. Okay, and it says David's car has broken down on the highway at grid reference 9,5. Each grid represents 5 kilometers. Write down the grid reference of the mobile phone tower. Okay, so straight from the equation of the circle, right, we know the center of this circle is at coordinate x is 3, y is 2, and I've illustrated that on this diagram here. Here is the center, or where the mobile phone tower is. So part A is done. Find the radius of the region of reception for this tower. Okay, so there's two parts to this, all right? Firstly, we know that the radius or the telephone tower gives reception to those within 40 grid units. Sorry, not 40 grid units, because R squared is equal to 40, which means R is equal to the square root of 40. Okay, which is about 6.3. All right. Now, the radius of the telephone tower is about 6.3 grid units, okay? But each grid unit represents 5 kilometers, okay? So let's change this rather than being, at the moment, it's in 6.3 grid units, okay? Let's change that to kilometers, and we know that each grid unit is 5 kilometers, so we just need to multiply that by the number of kilometers, okay? So then the radius of this telephone tower is about 31.62 kilometers. Okay, find the radius of the region. Done. So David is at this point 9,5. Okay, so it says if there are no other mobile phone and telephone towers in the vicinity, will David be able to use his telephone from this position? Okay, judging by the diagram I've drawn, we're going to say no. Okay, but to make sure, what we're going to do is calculate the distance between these 2 points. Okay, so the distance between 9,5, so when x is 9 and 5 and y and x is 3 and 2. Okay, so the distance between David here and between the center here. All right, and so we can just use the distance formula to that. That is the square root of x2 take x1, so 9 take 3 squared, and plus y2 take y1, 5 take 2 squared, close the bracket, and square root that whole thing. Okay, so what we're finding then is the square root of 6 squared plus 3 squared. Okay, let's put this in our calculator. 6 squared is 36, and 3 squared is 9. Okay, so we're finding the square root of 36 plus 9. So this is equal to 6.708 grid units. I'll just put GU this time, grid units. So let's change that into kilometers. We know that each grid unit represents 5 kilometers. So we multiply that by 5. And so David is 33.554 kilometers from the tower. And the tower has a range of 31.62 kilometers. So how far does he need to walk to receive signal? Well, as long as he's walking in a direct route towards the phone tower, okay, so from his location directly towards the phone tower, he only needs to walk 33.54 kilometers, take away 31.62. he only needs to walk 1.92 kilometers, which is a fair way if you're out stuck on the road. Okay, so that's how we do a problem like this. Okay, beware, you probably have to use the distance formula. The only thing you really need to be aware of in this, the only tricky thing is that each grid unit represents 5 kilometers. Okay, so right at the start, when they give you this formula for the circle, okay, the radius isn't going to be the square root of 40, it's going to be that many grid units. So you need to beware how many grid units is equal to how many kilometers. Okay.